It's been pretty easy to see over the last couple of months that NASCAR media is changing, whether it's the channels, the talent on air, you name it. And Fox Sports 1 is the latest of these to change. And there are three big changes so far that we need to look at. Number one, no Xfinity series anymore, just like NBC. Number two, 4 less cup races. And number three, you're looking at no NASCAR Race Hub, as that was canceled yesterday as of recording. Let's start off with the big one. I think that is no Xfinity Series races. This is the biggest change, I think, in terms of FS1 overall that you're going to see off the bat. They are losing half of a season worth of NASCAR's second-tier series. And that, of course, is moving to the CW, so NBC is losing this as well. Let's not act like we're seeing it just on the Fox side. It's actually starting this year for NBC, but I think that this could start off a bit of a chain of events of moving space around, not only in the NASCAR landscape with talent on air, as well as talent just working for Fox Sports when it comes to NASCAR, but also for motorsports in general in America. It's been heavily rumored that IndyCar could be moving over to Fox Sports as they have become a big player in the IndyCar media rights. And with this, NASCAR and IndyCar would be sharing the same network through at least the middle of May based on how the schedules look at the moment. This would also mean that you're going to have to move a lot of that space for IndyCar on Fox for the Indy 500, which might be why they're not going to have the Coke 600 anymore based on rumors, as well as the fact that you're going to have to probably move around through the spring if you want IndyCar races on the big Fox network. I think this as well is probably a big play to get the UFL on there, which we'll talk about a little more in a bit. The second big one, of course, is 4 less cup races. Fox and NBC are both cutting cup races this coming year in 2025 through 2031, and Fox will have 12 points races next year, plus the Clash and the All-Star race. 5 will be on the network Fox, while 9 will be on FS1. When you look at it this year, it's compared to 11 or so on Fox and 7 on FS1. This, again, is going to make a lot of room, in my opinion, for UFL coverage, which Fox is heavily pushing and could, if rumors are true on the NFL side, be something that the NFL kind of plays into as sort of an intermediary between college football and the NFL, sort of the way that baseball has multiple rings, you go up through the ranks as well. This, of course, is going to affect NASCAR the heaviest right away, as you're going to have less programming. Starting with the other thing we learned, number 3, the big news from yesterday, that NASCAR Race Hub, the longest currently tenured weekly NASCAR show that is on basically daily through the NASCAR season, is being canceled, and it is a staple of NASCAR media now for almost 15 years. Starting at the end of 2009 on the Speed Channel, this is the last remnant of that era when it comes to NASCAR coverage. And I'm not going to lie to you, I used to be a huge Race Hub fan. I would watch every night in the early 2010s, but I just lost interest in it around 2015 or 16. I don't know if it was just different interests of mine or what, but I think that a lot of it had to do with the fact that it changed mightily with the new contract. Of course, you had the loss of Steve Burns. Nobody could help that, and it was an unfortunate loss for the entire NASCAR community. But then you also had Jimmy Spencer, who was let go on some pretty weird circumstances when you look back on it. And Daniel Trotta was gone after that. Those three had a lot of chemistry and really made the show early on what it was. To me, now, especially with the bigger changes they made, it just looked like a scene out of the Star Wars prequels, because it was just a giant green screen with chairs. And to me, I think that this big Fox investment in this studio and in this show is now kind of, I'd say, useless, especially with NASCAR opening up their own production studios that will assumedly start making more content on a larger scale, not just a YouTube side or a social media, but actually on network television and cable television and beyond, with streaming maybe starting in 2025. And this, I think, opens the door to talk about more NASCAR media changes. There will be a lot more cable races with Fox, NBC, and TNT. TNT, of course, being a cable channel, but Fox moving most of their races away from the big network to FS1, and a large majority of the 14 Cup races that NBC will have will instead go to USA. This, to me, is desperation by these cable networks to keep people on cable. They will try and keep them with live sports and consolidate these live sports to be almost continuous throughout the day, especially on weekends where NASCAR runs the most. And you see it with the way that they paid. NASCAR, even with incredibly declining ratings since they signed this deal in 2012 to about 2013, to now have still made more money on this next deal per year. $7.7 billion, meaning $1.1 billion a year, and it's in a large part because these networks are failing and they're trying any last-ditch effort to make back their investment in return. Anecdotally, I'll say this: I would not have cable without NASCAR. I don't think I really care about anything on cable. Sure, if it's 3 a.m. and I'm hanging out with friends, drinking a beer and eating some Taco Bell, I might turn on ridiculousness or something. But it's just mindless to me. I could easily replace it with a YouTube video. And nowadays, with the international Saudi streams of NASCAR, I could easily just cut the cord all together. I mean, yeah, I'm going to miss some things of NASCAR, but the way that they're trying to make the streaming side bigger and the fact that I have Prime for way less than YouTube TV would be, it just doesn't make sense long term for me to stay on cable. And I think a lot of people in their 20s are the same way that I am with this. But with less overall programming with NASCAR on Fox especially, you're going to see people either lose their jobs or go to other networks. There are people that are way too talented to either be pushed to a background role or just end up being on the Truck Series broadcast, which probably will actually just stay the same. 3 people come to mind for me with this right off the bat: Shannon Spake, Chris Myers, and Adam Alexander. These 3 either have the talent or pedigree to put them well above a third-tier NASCAR series broadcast, but I just don't see how a lot of them with the current talent on the main broadcast stick around unless those people like a Mike Joy or like a Jamie Little or people on pit road go away. And I don't see that happening right away either unless Mike Joy retires. So you're going to see changes either with these people going to different networks or just going to different sports to cover altogether. There will be new blood in NASCAR broadcasting soon. Much of the on-air talent is old and or stale, and that is death when it comes to entertainment. And you see it. Youth in broadcasting also doesn't have to be 20s or 30s or anything like that. It can be people in their 40s and 50s. Broadcasting is an area that you can have a very long career in sports. And guys like Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Kevin Harvick, while approaching their 50s, are still kind of the youth of broadcasting and bring the energy. And even outsider talent, people from different sports that might bring in a different broadcasting perspective need to be considered when it comes to especially the TNT and Prime races in the coming months. You can't just do the same thing and expect different results. And also, I want to add this because it's a big part of the next deal that's only going to get bigger over time. Streaming is here to stay. Accept it. I'm not saying that you have to go and buy every streaming service. I'm not saying that the way it is now is perfect by any means. But when you look at where NASCAR has sort of pushed some of their assets here, Prime will have 5 exclusively streamed NASCAR races next year. It's heavily rumored that the Coke 600 will be one of them. TNT will also stream at the same time on Max. And you also have Peacock as well that might stream more during the races on TV for NASCAR and NBC. While Prime, Max, and Peacock may not be in their current form in 2031 when this contract ends, the medium is going to hold a much larger share of the pie when it comes to the key demo. People like me would much rather pay for 2 or 3 streaming services that might be $5 to $10 a month rather than pay $70 to $100 a month for cable or YouTube TV and basically have just basic packages. Overall, We are seeing the effects of this new $7.7 billion deal right now, and it's only going to keep shifting in the coming months. My advice to NASCAR fans, get used to it, because this paradigm shift happened before the 2001 deal that really shot NASCAR off. It happened before the 2007 deal with ESPN coming on, and it happened before the current deal. This is normal. Get used to it. It's not the end of the world. But with that, I do want to ask, maybe you think it is. So what do you think of the Fox major changes to the NASCAR side of broadcasting and overall coverage? Let me know down in the comments below. While you're at it, leave a like on this video, share this video, and subscribe to this channel for more great and fun NASCAR content. Thank you so much to all my channel members for your continued support, and until next time, have a good one.